Make those lists. And what's on those lists? Upgrades! A new TV, new running shoes. Gary wants a new bike because he was a dumbass and didn't lock it up right. They got tore up and bike ganked, and now all he's got is a tire and a bar lock. Serves you right, hipster. You're not changing anyone's mind. Take the bus like a city-dwelling human because you live in the city, and throw out that homebrew because it sucks. Santa should be all about karma and give you a big old kick in the reality nuts, but instead, Santa brings you the new shit. And what's the new shit? Upgrades! Upgrade that PS3 to a PS4 and check out how good all the remastered games look. Progress is fun! We're on a comet right now and we're going to Mars in 20 years. Earth is so last century. Space! Space is what's happening now. Upgrades keep us alive, keep us strong. What happened when Skynet wanted to take out John Connor? They sent the T-100. And when that went fart, they sent in the T-1000, who's an upgrade! And yeah, that didn't go so well either, but Terminator 2 Judgment Day was far superior to the original, so yeah, upgrades, man! The holidays are all about upgrading because, God forbid, you're cool with the last-gen iPhone, Amber. Seriously, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, the time-lapse function is sweet, but when are you going to use that, Amber? Just be happy with what you got. But we'll never be. Because upgrades are useful, and upgrades are fun. If it ain't fun and it ain't useful, it's a crappy gift. But some people don't dig on upgrades. Some people think we want it like back in the day. Some people think back in the day is still useful and fun. Like really back in the day, like Bible back in the day. You know how it is. You know, like a hand that even though you asked for a cool pair of gloves because you didn't want to be a dick and ask for a PS4, still gives you a book about Jesus? And how you have to find him and give up that silly dream that you're gay or into rap music or you want to go to art school, and you have to take it and smile because she's sweet, but it's 2014 and she clearly has no shitting idea what's really going on. Like a kid bringing a medallion to a football game. And that's what... Don't worry about it, it's funny. Oh wait, did I say medallion? I meant mandolin. That's way funnier. She clearly has no shitting idea what's going on, like a kid bringing a mandolin with her. There it is. That's funny. Thanks, shot. And that's what Ridley Scott did this year with the premiere of his latest epic action movie for the holidays, Exodus, Gods and Kings. Now look, this is not the first Bible action epic to come out this year, and it won't be the last. Earlier in February, there was Son of God, based on the March miniseries The Bible, starring Roma Downey and that guy who played Jesus from The Bible. The miniseries, not The Bible. Then in March, there was Darren Aronofsky's Noah with Russell Crowe and professional napkin Jennifer Connelly. Much love, guys. Then Greg Kinnear jumped on the bandwagon with Heaven is Real in April because he wasn't doing anything, and now we're in December! And Ridley Scott gives us the Moses movie. In the last 11 months, Hollywood has put out more big-budget biblical movies than it has in the last 11 years combined. Did you know that two of the highest-grossing movies of all time, obviously adjusting for inflation, or as I like to call it, time math, are not about Marvel superheroes? In 1950, William Wyler's Ben-Hur and Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments together made over $1.7 billion in domestic sales, again, adjusted with time math. And that's more than Batman, Transformers, and that James Cameron movie about the sexy blue alien cats that fight dragons or whatever the hell that is. And this year, for his holiday gift to the world, instead of a new film totally excusing all the bullshit we had to deal with in Prometheus, which is what we asked for, Ridley Scott made a movie about Moses starring Batman. So here's what Exodus, Gods and Kings is the story of baby Moses, who we all remember coloring in at Sunday school. He's a little kid in the basket, floating down the river, gets picked up by the Pharaoh's daughter, and he's raised as the brother of Ramses II in Egypt, where they enslaved the Hebrews for 400 years, and then Moses finds out he's actually Hebrew, and joins up with them, talks to God, grows a beard, threatens the Egyptians, and when they tell him to go take a walk, God unleashes the 10 plagues, and Moses leads people out into the desert wearing a robe like he's late-game Jim Morrison, and then the Egyptians chase him, and Moses parts the Red Sea, and when the Egyptians chase after him, God pulls the ripcord and drowns the Egyptians, and then the Hebrews wander the desert till they find a mountain where Moses gets the 10 Commandments, and then blam, shoot he is. Sorry, spoiler alert. It's not like we don't all know this. And if you ever check the drawer in your hotel room, it's the Bible, man. Christian Bale was psyched to play the role. He said, and I quote, "Moses is the most fascinating character I've ever studied." The production designer of the film, Arthur Max, said, and I quote, "This is the biggest film I've ever done." And dudes worked on Gladiator, American Gangster, and Black Hawk Down. The set was bigger than the 20th Century Fox lot in Los Angeles and used up to 1,000 strong crew members and 3,000 plus extras in one scene alone. It's massive. It's a spectacle. Why there hasn't been a spectacle like this since the last time they made this movie in 1950, directed by Cecil B. DeMille, called it The 10 Commandments. Big budget, big biblical name, big actors, Christian Bale, Sigourney Weaver, Ben Kingsley, Aaron Paul. And big action is a holiday tradition. Except it's a Bible story. And all those actors are white. And it's not 1950 anymore. And things are a little different. See, back in the day, we're talking about the post-war days, the Mad Men days, it was totally acceptable to make a Bible movie because the Bible was the it girl. People still prayed in schools. Back in them times, it was totally acceptable to have a big-budget Hollywood movie about the Middle East starring a bunch of white people. Yul Brynner, who played Ramses II in the 10 Commandments, was Russian, but that's as close as you could get back then before causing the old ladies to faint or to shun you. You'd think now, like 60-some years later, black president, diverse culture, science basically taking apart the Bible piece by piece and exposing it for the Bush League Big Book of Scary Tales that it actually is, we get a different Moses movie, but that's not what happened. Moses, in this case, is played by a Welshman. Ramses is played by an Australian in gold makeup like a drag queen who forgot her hair. And if you want to see a movie about Australians in the desert, the Mad Max trilogy is on Blu-ray, and Mad Max Fury Road is coming next summer. Have you seen that trailer? That is some biblical shit. Meanwhile, back in Exodus, the majority of the diversity in the cast occurs in the slave characters, and while that might be a little closer to the truth, it's still about a white guy in a beard freeing some ethnically ambiguous slaves from the desert, which has never happened. A boycott has already picked up steam on Twitter, and you can join it. @ Boycott Exodus Movie. And what do the higher-ups have to say about it? Rupert Murdoch tweeted, and I quote, "Since when are all Egyptians not white? All I know are..." Which doesn't make any sense grammatically, but still pretty friggin' racist. Christian Bale said, quote, "No doubt it would have been a melting pot between Europe, North America, North Africa, and the Middle East, thereby excusing it by, I don't know, science." And then Ridley Scott said, quote, "I can't mount a film of this budget where I have to rely on tax rebates in Spain and say that my lead actor is Mohammed so-and-so from such and such, and I'm not going to get financed, so the question doesn't even come up," end quote, and there it is. But the holly jolly good news is it's not the only big budget action film based on a fairy tale. Because the Battle of the Five Armies, the Five-Hill Hobbit movie, opens this week, and it's supposed to be amazing, and it's got diversity up the elven ass. So choose wisely. And if the message is received by the big ups in Hollywood, maybe next year Santa will bring us what we really want for the holidays, for Hollywood to finally get an upgrade. Thank you. To the "you can't make this shit up" section, let's check in on FurFest 15, the 15th annual Midwestern Furry Convention, and the fallout from the recent chlorine powder bomb explosion. We have someone here who knows something about the identity of the bomber. Please welcome Broxton!
Hey guys.